Axial skeleton. The axial skeleton consists of the skull, the sternum, ribcage, and the vertebral column. The animation shows various parts of the axial skeleton. Click on the play button to view the parts. The skull. The skull is made up of many bones joined together to form the cranium as shown in the graphic. The illustration shows the human skull. The cranium encloses and protects the brain. It contains orbits that house and protect the eyes. It also protects the middle and the inner ears and the olfactory organs responsible for smelling. The skull has on it the upper and the lower jaws. The upper jaw is called maxilla and is rigidly attached to the skull. The lower jaw is called mandible and forms a movable joint with the skull. Jaws house the teeth. There are openings on the cranium through which nerves and blood cells pass to serve the brain. At the posterior end of the cranium are two smooth rounded extensions called occipital condyles. These articulate with the first bone of the vertebral column, the atlas, to form a joint which allows for nodding of the head. Play the animation to show how the atlas articulates with the occipital condyles of the cranium. The vertebral column. The vertebral column is made up of bones called vertebrae. In humans, there are 33 vertebrae. Vertebrae have the following features in common. Neural spine, which provides a large surface area for attachment of muscles. Neural canal, which houses and protects the spinal cord. Centrum, which supports weight and produces red blood cells. Transverse processes for attachment of muscles. Neural arc, paired smooth facets called zygapophyses. Those at the anterior are prezygapophyses, while those at the posterior are postzygapophyses. Cervical vertebrae. These are found in the neck region. There are 7 cervical vertebrae in humans. The first of these is called the atlas. It articulates with the occipital condyles at the posterior end of the cranium to form a joint that allows for nodding movements of the head. Illustration of an atlas. The animation shows the articulation of atlas and cranium. Click on the play button to view the animation. The second is the axis. This forms a joint with the atlas that allows for side-to-side movement of the head, allowing one face to the left or the right. The illustration shows the structure of axes. The animation shows the articulation of atlas and axis. Click on the play button to view the animation. The remaining 5 cervical vertebrae have the following characteristics. Short neural spine, have openings through which blood vessels and nerves enter or leave the spinal cord at the neck, and the outer part of each transverse process is divided into two. The photograph shows a standard cervical vertebrae. Thoracic vertebrae. These are found in the thoracic area. There are 12 thoracic vertebrae in humans. The neural spine of the thoracic vertebrae is prominent to provide a large surface area for attachment of shoulder muscles. The transverse processes are well developed and have facets to articulate with ribs. The facets that articulate with the capitulum of the rib is called capitular facet, and the one that articulates with the tuberculum is called tubercular facet. Play the animation to see the various parts of a thoracic vertebrae. Lumbar vertebrae. Lumbar vertebrae are found in the abdominal region. They are 5 in humans. Lumbar vertebrae have well-developed transverse processes projecting forward and downward from the centrum to offer a large surface area for attachment of abdominal muscles. A number of processes from the centrum called metapophysis, anapophysis, and hypopophysis provide more surface area for attachment of abdominal muscles. The illustration shows lumbar vertebrae. Play the animation to see various parts of lumbar vertebrae. Sacral vertebrae. These are located in the pelvic region. 4 sacral vertebrae are fused together to form a broad structure, the sacrum. The illustration below shows the structure of a sacrum. The most anterior sacral vertebrae have well-developed transverse processes which are fused to the pelvic girdle. The illustration shows position of the sacrum in the pelvic girdle. Caudal vertebrae. These are small. They support the tail. In man, they are reduced to form coccyx. The illustration shows caudal vertebrae.